Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Legal Podcast powered by Legal Specs, your one stop space for law students, young professionals, and anyone curious about the legal world. At Legal Specs, we are on a mission to bridge the gap between theory and practice, offering free learning sessions, internship opportunities, boot camps, and even ISBN publication opportunities for our interns. Basically, if you've got the passion for law, we've got the platform for it. I'm your host, Preksha Bothra, and today we have a guest who perfectly represents that bridge between academics and real world legal practice. Joining us today is Ms. Indulekha K, Associate Litigation Counsel at the Legal Pandiyas Law Firm, Madurai. She holds an LL.M in Criminal Law and Criminal Justice Administration and has previously served as a law research assistant at the Tamil Nadu State Judicial Academy, Madras High Court. What even more fascinating is that she has taught law and even worked in engineering colleges before stepping fully into litigation. So she's seen both sides, the academic bench and the courtroom bar as well. Welcome to the legal podcast, ma'am. Let's start from
Thank
the
you.
beginning. Yes, let's start from the beginning. What inspired you to choose law? Was it a childhood calling, a twist of fate, or a moment that made you say, okay, this is my path?
So it was maybe fate had always, been there. It was fate had already decided that yes, when I was born, maybe we got themselves decided, okay, this woman is going to do law. That's how I think it is. I was more fascinated because of my grandfather. He was a very good counsel at the Karnataka High Court. He was also a designated senior counsel. He's no more. He is my inspiration. And after his generation, there was a gap. Nobody literally, took law. I mean, they did law. My father, for example, my uncle, both of them have done law, but they did not step into litigation. So I was the first person to step into litigation. My dad was more into corporate, and my uncle is a CA. So they had it their way, and so I thought, why not give a chance, give a try. That's how I ended up in litigation. And I was always fascinated by my grandfather. He was my greatest inspiration. He used to wear that white and look so royal, and he had a good client base, and yeah, good number of politicians as well as cinema stars also. So that is what fascinated me.
That is such a great story, ma'am. And along the way, what would you say were some of the biggest turning points in your career so far?
The biggest turning point in my career was when I took the assignment as the law research assistant at Tamil Nadu State Judicial Academy. That was my turning point because I had never gone beyond books. So that is when it made me think, okay, there should be a human touch to everything, and books is not everything. you know you should have the ability to think in a judicial way and think meticulously and interact with humans. That's when I learned. And after that, teaching you guys at college also was another turning point where interaction made me closer to what is the difficulty the students face and how I have to bridge the gap. That's how that both of these were the turning points.
That is again a very inspiring sort of turn. My next question would be from academia to litigation. It seems like quite a big leap. What is the biggest difference that you felt between teaching law and actually practicing it now?
Teaching law and practicing law, I mean, I always wanted to practice, but to start my own practice, I needed some backing. You know how litigation works in India. Without any proper backing, without financial stability, it is definitely going to be a hard time. So that is the first reason I stepped into academics, and simultaneously I was also into active practice. But now I'm practicing full time because of the love towards it. And every case, every case is maybe just a case to us, but it is the life of the clients involved. So I think that has driven me towards litigation.
Okay, ma'am. You've handled quite a few challenging cases. And could you tell us about one which truly tested your skills, maybe even changed how you approach the law?
Yeah. There is this one recent case. It's a matrimonial dispute involving a mother-daughter duo. So they were testifying against our client. So our client is the father of the daughter and the former husband of the petitioner. So the daughter, whatever she had stated um, in her sworn affidavit and in her chief examination. So we asked the same question. In fact, I asked the same questions, but in an affirmative tone, and she trembled. And sometimes, truth breaks open. Your emotions speak louder than what you've actually stated. You cannot be tutored, is what I think. Her mother, she was just standing behind me. She was doing some signs and all that. It was very noticeable, but then we just avoided it because we couldn't say anything. The daughter is around 20 years, and the mother continuously was giving her all sort of signs. She's like, if the daughter was about to tell the truth or if she was confused, the mother used to do all that. And I was like, I also pointed out to the judge, and I was telling the judge that she's tampering and all that. And the judge said, it's okay because you're posing such questions to her daughter. And I said, I'm just posing the same questions that she has already stated in her sworn statement and also the chief examination. I'm not saying something out of the blue, but then that is when I learned that, sometimes when you force yourself, when you're aggressive, and when you ask questions affirmatively, truth also comes out. This is one of the challenging cases because the mother was continuously interrupting. She used to show signs. She used to breathe heavily. She used to make faces, all that, and it was very evident also.
Okay.
This is one of
Um,
the challenging cases because we had to, we couldn't say anything directly to the mother or the daughter. This is one of the challenging cases I faced very recently.
Um, that's very fascinating, ma'am. And honestly, these stories remind us more than just, the fact that we do law just for the source of the subject. It's more about the people and it's more about the kind of interactions you have. Now, ma'am, when the stakes are high, for example, emotions in the case that you just did, where the mother obviously wanted a particular way, uh, the especially when it came to the daughter answering certain questions, what could you have done, or what advice would you give to anybody in a similar situation? That is, how do they approach
In
this
a
interaction?
similar situation, if the daughter or the mother was our client, I would definitely tell her, see I definitely make her prepared. I would say, see, these are the questions that you will have to tackle, and sometimes they will ask you aggressively. You should not get confused. You shouldn't stumble. You should be on to what you want to convey to the court. You should not be confused. So when you are confused, there'll be a doubt. So don't be confused. Just stay focused. And if you're not ready to answer something, you tell the court openly that you don't want to answer that question. That is
Okay.
how I would train my client.
No, ma'am. The question which I was actually posing was if a junior or someone who's recently joined the law profession and is in the litigation field, if they faced a similar situation that you faced, what advice would you give them to make sure that they are able to take their stand in front of the judge or in front of the client as well?
I'll say you be focused on what you want to do. So ultimately, it is not about winning or losing. Every case is an experience, is what I would say. And I wouldn't, give any advice because everyone has their own way of figuring out things. What may work for me may not work for others. This is something I've learned. So when
That's
I ask about other people's experience, right? When they share their experience, it'll be totally different because maybe we are interacting or dealing with the same set of people, but again, their emotions, their mindset, everything changes from time to time, and they're not always the same. So yes.
That's another fascinating thing which I'm learning too. These stories, again, these stories and these situations remind us why people skills are a lot more important in our profession than just statutes and sections. Now, ma'am,
Very
when the stakes are high, when there are deadlines, when there are clients, how do you stay composed and solve problems and situations effectively? Any mantra or method that you swear by?
There's no mantra or method as such. I stay calm, I stay focused, I strategize things. So I will prioritize. So whatever has to be done immediately and urgently, I will try to finish it within the end of the day. That is, I'll set a timeline. So these are my working hours. For example, let's say 9 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. at night. And I will close at any cost. I have to close by 9. I will not go beyond my beyond this 9 p.m. deadline of mine that I have set for myself. And how I try to achieve this is by staying calm, by strategizing, like I said. And I will also keep the list of things that I have to be ready for. And if there's a new case, I'll write briefs whenever I'm interacting with the clients. Right, tend to take notes. That will help me a lot. That actually has helped me a lot. I mean, again, it's very personal. Maybe it has helped me. Sometimes I have seen people who record also, so that also helps them. So yes.
Um, okay, ma'am. That was a little heavy. I want to lighten things up a little bit. We've all heard those courtroom tales which sound like they're straight out of a movie. Do you have any funny or unexpected courtroom moment that you would like to share? Something that still makes you smiles, or something that makes you remember the times where you were in the court, or something like that?
There are actually two such things. One is a very interesting thing. This happened when I was practicing in Bangalore. So this is a very funny incident. I mean, I was not personally involved in this. I was just a spectator. So there was this MAC trial that was going on, motor vehicle accidents claims tribunal. In that court, there was a trial going on, and the uh, witness was being cross-examined. So he was asked a question like, "So before the accident, how much were you able to raise your hand?" And he kept saying that I am not able to raise my hand above this level after the accident. So the he just the counsel there, he just defense counsel, he just asked, okay, now before the accident, were you able to raise your hand? He said yes. How much were you able to raise that? The witness, without even thinking, he raised the same hand and he said, I was able to lift this much, but now I'm not able to lift even to this level. And all the entire court started laughing. This is a very funny incident that happened. And yeah, that's it about it.
Ma'am, you told me you had two incidents.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
waiting
I
for the
had the
story.
other one was this is a this is still this is an ongoing case of mine. Okay, whenever we want this client, we want to represent this client, the judge is always on leave. Any day the case is listed, she's on leave, and I feel so bad. And whenever we want her to be on leave, I don't know. She always tends to appear hale and healthy. This is one very funny incident, and we are unable to even answer the client. And the client also, he's not from India, so it's very difficult for him to travel from other place, from abroad, and come to India just to attend this case. And every time it is listed, something or the other happens, and she's on leave.
Honestly, gold, ma'am. I can already see both of these scenes in a particular legal drama episode. Um, Ma'am, you've also spent some time teaching, so you are also aware of the student mentality as such inside out. What's one misconception law students have about the legal profession?
One misconception the students have is that legal world is very fancy. They think corporate law means more money than the litigation field does, but it's not true. It's just a misconception. If you work hard, of course, your beginning stage of your career, definitely in litigation, it is not that great. But if you make a name for yourself, if you represent your clients uh, in a very good way without getting into any other aspect, if you do anything with a uh, how do I say how do I put in words, with good effort, your effort will definitely give you a good reap, is what I think.
Okay, ma'am. And if you could give just one piece of advice to your younger self, translated into the people who are still in law school right now, what would that be?
I would say I shouldn't chase. I mean, to my younger self, if I'm giving this advice, don't chase awards, rewards, or whatsoever it is. Okay, earn people. Earning award or reward is not going to fetch you anything. But earn people, earn their trust. Sometimes you have to connect with the human. You have to connect with their emotions. That is what is important. That is how you also build your client base.
Love that, ma'am. And ma'am, since we're all about bridging the learning and the practice here at Legal Specs, what skills do you think young lawyers and people who've recently joined the profession, or even interns who are actually working in the litigation field, should build beyond just academics?
I think there are three skills. One is communication, second one is empathy, and the third one is to respect others. So to respect others, really important. First is you have to communicate. You have to communicate in a way that the other person with whom you're communicating has to effectively understand what you're trying to communicate, and they should be clear of their thoughts, and you should also be clear of what you are actually trying to convey to them. Second one is be empathetic. Human emotions, that is one thing you have to understand, especially if you want to practice, if you want to be in litigation, you should understand emotions, otherwise it is not going to lead you anywhere. And third one is give the respect every person deserves. They may be rich, poor, whatsoever. Everybody deserve a respect, and you should give that respect. Because
Uh,
these days, young advocates I see, they don't respect their elders. They don't respect anybody. This is one thing that I have seen.
Okay. Ma'am, that is really nice. And something I feel also, which can be included, is also drafting. Right, ma'am? Just beyond academics, I have seen in the practical world, if you do not know drafting, it becomes very problematic for any office that you join. That is something which I have also learned. So just adding on to whatever you have already told, communication, obviously very important, respect, obviously important, empathy also. But apart from that, just focusing on your studies, I feel, is not enough. You need to do as many internships as you physically can, and you need to make
Correct.
sure that you push the seniors that you're interning under to give you drafts to work on. And I
That's
feel
what
like it becomes very, very important. At least now that even I have started working, I have seen that that is one of my strong suits as well. Ma'am, so it is time. It is now time for our signature segment, Law in 60 Seconds, where you will get just a minute to explain any complex legal concept in the most simplest way possible, as if you were teaching it to your favorite non-law friend.
okay. So this is basically I want to talk about bailable and non-bailable offences. So bailable, as the name itself suggests, it is bailable, and there is a misconception that non-bailable means there cannot be bail at all. No, that is wrong. So in bailable offences, in the police station itself, the person will be granted bail, or it is the duty of the magistrate to grant a bail. But in case of non-bailable offence, it doesn't mean that there cannot be any bail. It is the discretion of that particular court concerned whether to grant the bail or not. This is what I wanted to convey, because there's a lot of misconception around it. Because a lot of times people keep asking me like, why, how come they've granted bail? When I read the section, it clearly mentioned that it is a non-bailable offense. How come that person has been granted bail? So I always say this: bail is the rule and jail is the exception.
That was brilliant, ma'am. You just made criminal law sound like a Netflix miniseries. Uh, so before we wrap up, ma'am, what do you think the future of the legal profession looks like, especially with the technology, AI, and also new legal paths and career paths emerging every single day?
So AI and legal, they have to go hand in hand, because when we are assisted by the AI for our research, it is really helpful. One thing, and the other thing is, we cannot rely completely on AI or technology. There has to be human touch. Human emotions do play a significant role in advocacy, and especially trial advocacy. This is one thing that I want to tell. And now there are more women litigators here. I see that when compared to when I initially started my practice, now I see a lot of women taking up litigation as their choice of profession. And yes, this is a welcome step. There is inclusivity. I think in another next 5 to 10 years, there'll be more and more women. Again, women in judiciary also. There's a significantly great number of women in judiciary. When it comes to district judiciary, I see a lot of female judges. It's a very welcome thing.
Right, ma'am. And just before we wrap up, I know that you have been one of my role models when I was doing
The
DPC.
role model. Thank you, thank you.
In
Thank you, Precha. I never knew that.
ma'am, so in the same way, who have been your role models or people who have shaped you as a person or as the advocate that you are today?
Thank you for this question. Firstly, my teachers, my our dearest principal, I would say, Anita ma'am, Anita D'Souza. She has always, I used to love her class. She used to always make the complex things sound so simple. And just her lessons, her teachings in the class, I've just written exams, and all the subjects that she's taught, I think I've scored good marks in all the subjects that she's taught. And apart from Anita ma'am, of course, Shweta ma'am, Nalini ma'am, CV sir also. All of my teachers, and apart from my teachers, my mentors at the Judicial Academy. Uh, so Mr. Lingeshwaran sir, Shobha Devi ma'am, Anand Raj sir, all of them have, and Mr. E.V. Chandru, advocate, he is all of them have, played a good role in inspiring me. And latest addition is my husband. He inspires me a lot. The way he does cross examination in the court, it is really good. He's always prepared. I'm not saying because he's my husband or anything. Uh, he is well prepared. He knows what he has to ask, and what he shouldn't ask. That is one thing I've learned from my husband. These are all my role models, and everybody is my role model. Sometimes my students, the way they speak, the way, the smallest of the things they convey, all these, go and sit somewhere back in my head. And sometimes at that right minute, it just sparks.
True, ma'am. And since we are on the topic of, people who have shaped you to be a better person, how do you maintain a balance? Because I have not still learned how to maintain a balance between my work life and my personal life. So I still struggle. I don't know if you're able to do it, but I just want to ask: are there
See,
any tips
one
and tricks?
thing. Continue.
No, ma'am. Are there
Sorry
any
to
tips
interrupt you.
which you could? No, ma'am. It's fine. Are there any tips and tricks which you would suggest to
Okay,
me?
as a person, as a married woman, it is one question. I mean, mostly everybody faces this. Not just a woman or married woman or anything. Everybody has to balance their personal life as well as their professional life. So you should, set time, and you should follow that timing very strictly. You shouldn't go beyond. You shouldn't exceed that time. You shouldn't take anything for granted. Like I told you previously, I have this 9 to 9 class. So before 9 a.m., I'm not going to start anything related to my profession. After 9 p.m., again, I will not touch anything, however urgent it may be. So this is how I do it. I try to finish it as early as possible. And if it is something that is very important, I will also tell my husband or whoever is, whoever you reside, your family members, it is more important to tell them and make them understand how it is really important. Sometimes you're handling cases, and it is very, very important. You have to file it the next day, and you have to do all the drafting, all the corrections, everything that very night. You have to convey this to your partner or your family members, and you have to make them understand. If that is not there, definitely there won't be a work-life balance.
Okay, ma'am. That
And
is
always stick to one particular schedule. To schedule everything, stick to that particular schedule and go on in that way. So if there's a time limit that you have set, you shouldn't go beyond that. Switch off
true,
your
ma'am.
phones, I would say.
Yes, ma'am. That is amazing. Ma'am, so it is time for my favorite segment. I have titled it Quick Counsel. I'll just throw a bunch of rapid fire questions. You don't try not to overthink. The first thing that comes to mind is what I would like you to say. Firstly, what's your favorite legal book?
My favorite legal book. On today's date, this is my favorite legal book. This is called Sattaswar Kalanjiyam. So Sattaswar Kalanjiyam is a legal dictionary. Okay, this is English to Tamil legal dictionary. So this is what I use it right now. And today, I mean not just today, but recently, this is one book that I go to,
Okay,
because
ma'am.
I want to know the exact legal terminology in the local language. So since I'm from Madurai, so the local language is Tamil, so I want to make use of that.
Understood, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is a judge that you found the toughest or most fascinating to argue before.
Okay, I wouldn't name her, but I'll just give some hints. She is a perfectionist. She is very. She wants everything to be precise. Even the slightest of comma matters to her. She's from the Madras High Court. Yes, this is the only thing I can tell you.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, and is there any case you wish you had been a part of? Any historical case where you think that, okay, I want to be a part of this. I wish I would have been a part of this.
No,
No. Okay.
maybe I always feel that there is something what has to come to you will come to you anyway.
Ma'am, ma'am, your go-to stress buster after a long day in court.
My bed. I just
Right.
want to relax.
That's amazing. Ma'am, if not law, what profession would you have chosen?
That's a difficult one. I've never thought about it. Probably I would have been a makeup artist.
Makeup artist. Okay, ma'am, that is amazing. Two very contradictory professions, but I see it. Ma'am, the next question is most overused phrase in the legal world.
Overused phrase. Um, I don't know. I'm thinking this is not a rapid fire. So ignorant shall juris non excused.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what is one legal movie or show you secretly love, even if it feels unrealistic?
मामला legal है.
Amazing.
It's on
Ma'am,
Netflix.
yes, I know, ma'am. I'm watching that too right now.
Okay.
Ma'am, your favorite part about teaching law?
Teaching law, interacting with young minds.
Ma'am, one misconception about criminal law that you wish people would drop.
Also, one misconception is that when somebody is practicing criminal law, people think we are not just defending the criminals, but we are criminals also. This is one thing. Everybody has the right to be heard, right? So even the criminals or the accused, I would say accused, until proven guilty, you are still an accused. Yes.
Yes.
So this is
True,
one
ma'am.
misconception about criminal law.
Yes, ma'am. A legal principle which you can explain even in your sleep.
Even in my sleep, injuria sign damno, damno sign injury.
Nice, ma'am. What's a courtroom habit that you've picked up, be it good or bad?
Be on time.
Amazing.
Time matters. We are nobody to waste anybody's time.
True, ma'am. Ma'am, what powers you, tea, coffee, or adrenaline?
Sorry?
What powers you? Like for me, it is coffee, but for most people, it's tea. Is it tea, coffee, or adrenaline?
Adrenaline rush, you mean? Coffee.
Amazing,
Coffee.
ma'am.
Actually, there's this rose milk spot in the district court campus here, and that's my go to spot. Rose milk.
Okay, ma'am. A law student habit you find adorable as well as funny.
Adorable as well as funny. Reading only the provisions.
Okay,
That
ma'am.
is a law student habit. Always with the Bare Act. I mean, there's a lot of things beyond the Bare Act. You should sometimes open your eyes and see.
Amazing, ma'am. So, final question of this segment. If you could change one thing about the legal system tomorrow, what would it be?
It is already changing right now, but yes, good pay. I think for
Yeah.
beginners, you don't have to start with 5K, 10K, 12K. Straight away, it can be 25, 30.
True, ma'am.
I
Very
think I think more youngsters would be interested if the pay is
in
good.
litigation. Yeah. Brilliant answers, ma'am. You aced that round like a pro. No objections sustained. So that was
Thank you.
that was our quick counsel with ma'am. Fast, funny, and full of legal zest. Ma'am, with that, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Preksha.
such a refreshing and insightful chat. It was full of warmth, wisdom, and also a few courtroom laughs. Thank you so much for being on the legal podcast.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you for inviting me, Preksha. And
Thank you.
thank you, Legal Specs team.
Thank you, ma'am. So, to all our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the Legal Podcast for more stories from the courtroom, classroom, and beyond. You could also check us out on legalspecs.org and follow Legal Specs on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube to stay updated about our upcoming webinars, internships, and also publication opportunities. Indulekha ma'am is also available on LinkedIn and you can obviously search for her. And she also posts really amazing content. Until next time, stay curious, stay ethical, and stay legally sound. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.